What is up, guys? Ncaa31 here, and with the college football season drawing near and the college football itch in full effect, I am bringing you all a new series, NCAA 14, my little offline coaching career dynasty. Starting out as the head man of my alma mater, the UConn Huskies. And this is something that guys throughout the YouTube community do as well, so this is nothing new. But I've never really played offline Dynasty in this game at all, so why not? And as far as what I'm using for settings, I'm just playing default Heisman. I don't have the time or the inclination to screw around with sliders. And I just have a couple of house rules that I use. Game plan settings are all at balanced. And I control a pass rusher, no switching. And I don't hot route. So that's pretty much it. And what better way to start out my dynasty than with a regional rivalry game at Rentschler Field, taking on the UMass Minutemen. And I'm bringing a Rich Rodriguez style spread offense and the 3-3-5 stack defense. And as I play this game, there's some pretty darn good presentation elements in this sucker. I'm not someone who is overly anal about presentation. As you see, you're a virtual representation of yours truly. But it does a pretty dang good job, I think, in my opinion. I think it actually has superior presentation than Madden, to tell you the truth. As you see, Lyle McComb is my best player, doing some rumbling. He's my Steve Slayton, my Noel Devine, if you remember Rich Rodriguez's West Virginia teams. I don't have a Pat White, unfortunately. Chandler Whitner, my quarterback. He's a redshirt junior, pocket passer, who's just athletic enough to run the keep a couple of times a game, but he won't make anyone forget Marcus Mariota, Braxton Miller, or Johnny Manziel anytime soon. My backup quarterback, who you'll see in a couple of packages, he's a bit of a scooter, but he just can't throw with a damn, at least not yet. So he's on the pine for situational packages. I have a couple of pretty good receivers on the outside. Jeremy Davis, he's my possession guy, my move the chains guy, who can catch the ball in traffic. Shaquem Phillips, he's the big play guy. I have a true freshman slot receiver. Demir Bradley, he's your prototypical slot receiver, small, quicker than fast, decent hands. Sean McQuillan, my tight end. Okay offensive line. As we see, Jeremy Davis strike. And we get the first points of the Ncaa31 era. Defensively, how can these dudes play the 3-3-5 stack? Can they play the 3-3-5 stack? The big question is on the defensive line. Pretty mediocre there. BJ McBride, he's my best combination of block shedding, who I'm using there, and pass rush. The linebackers are the strength of the unit, led by impact player Yawin Smallwood, an NFL caliber prospect, Graham Stewart, and Jefferson Ashiru, very versatile athletic unit. The weakness of the team, the cause for concern, the biggest cause of stress is the secondary. Not a lot of depth and not a lot of talent there. We have strong safety Byron Jones. In the 3-3-5 stack, your safeties have to be jack-of-all-trades types. They have to be athletic enough to cover. They have to be physical enough to play the run. They have to come off the edge as pass rushers. A lot of stress on the safeties. And Byron Jones is more of a guy who plays in space and is able to cover. How he's able to hold up physically remains to be seen. Taylor Mack is my only senior in the secondary. The defense as a whole is very young. Not a lot of seniors on the team in general, which is a good thing, which means there's a lot of room for upside with a lot of these players. Right now, UMass is on the march. They run a multiple no-huddle offense. You'll see some spread, you'll see some under center. They do a good job of going back and forth and pressing tempo. They're led by Mike Wesen, a pretty decent dual threat core QB, and Jordan Broadnaz at running back. And you know how season openers go. They are very stressful. You never know what can happen. You never know how your players are going to respond until you get them out and the bullets start flying. And right now they are on the march. This 3-3-5 defense features a lot of pressure. A lot of man one, a lot of man zero in passing situations. Single high safety is the norm, and right now it is being shredded. As UMass just marches right down the field and ties this game up. Not a very good start. Offense looked impressive on their first drive. Defense looked kind of dicey as PJ McBride does a belly flop and lets the QB scoot right on into the end zone. Lyle McCombs, shifty. Another one of these guys who's quicker than fast, elusive, doesn't really have great breakaway speed, but he's a reliable workhorse. Sets the tempo for the offense, allows us to run some play action. Jeremy Davis moves the sticks. First down means we establish tempo of our own. Gotta respond. Can't let the underdog hang around. The underdog will feel like it can beat you. Looking to spread to run against two high safeties. We will run the rock until they show us that they can stop it. Lyle McCombs, he will be our bread and butter this season. We're going to ride him like a pack mule. Plenty of time in the pocket. And Jeremy Davis again getting loose over the middle. Davis and Chandler Whitmer are showing some nice chemistry early. Shaquem Phillips has his speed, his fresh defense. That opens up lanes for the possession receivers in the slots and outside and for the tight end. Max DiLorenzo checks in. He's the power back. Play action inverted ver. And we're forced to throw it away. Good coverage for the Minutemen. The UMass D showing some confidence, showing some swag. And they get pressure and we get sacked. Never want your QB to take those blindside hits. If the protection completely breaks down, left tackle gets whipped, and that'll snuff the drive out. We're going to have to settle for a field goal. We got a reliable kicker slash punter. One of the best legs in the country. Back on defense. Can the second series of the season go better than the first? And that is not a good start as we get gashed in the counter. McBride trying to put some pressure. We get gashed over the middle. But we come back, we do an excellent job of stuffing out the screen, get them into long yardage, and we're going to get called for offsides. Bad mistake. The tempo clearly affecting the UConn defense. 3rd and 5. Tight man coverage. All day to throw, no pressure. But our coverage holds up and we get them off the field. We got gashed on 3rd down the first drive. We came back and played a little bit more conservative. We're going to force them into a long field goal attempt. It has the distance and it's wide. Looked like it was going to be good. Looked like he had the leg. But starting to die. It was shorter than I thought it was at first. So we hold. And we go back to the ground to get used to seeing this. Lyle McCombs churning along that right side. That's where our Bulldozers are at, and a costly drop. We go right back to the well, and Shaquem Phillips with 2 drops in a row. Uncle Mo is wearing maroon and white. We're in that no man's land in college football. We go for it on 4th and 5. We go right back to Mr. Phillips, get his confidence back. He converts Jeremy Davis on the jet sweep. It's the Jeremy Davis and Lyle McCombs show this half so far. Trying to snatch momentum back. Jeremy Davis gets loose again. The second TD of the half. The level of competition has to be taken into account, but so far you gotta like what you're seeing out of the O if you're a Husky fan.
Let's check in with Reese Davis in the studio. Let's take a look at scores around the country.
Rival Rutgers tasseling with Derek Carr and Fresno State. I like these scoreboard updates.
10-point game. So what will it hold?
But anyhow, defense is giving up way too much yardage. They got to find the answer. Once again, when we get aggressive, we get torched.
And he's tackled at the 33.
This is not a good sign defensively, but Jesse Joseph playing that strong side defensive end spot does an excellent job of holding the edge. BJ McBride is more of the balanced offensive end. Jesse Joseph is more of a run plugger. Does a great job there. But again, we struggle on third down, giving up the conversion. And again, we get beat over the middle as Godwin Smallwood tries to make the receiver pay the price. And Wesson again hurts us with his legs. And UMass just will not go away. The pressure on the offense again. And our other true freshman slot receiver, Lamel, comes through over the middle. We're looking to tack on some more points into going into the half and then try to rally the defense to show some resistance. Something, anything. Can't be just allowing the quarterback to be running backside free as a bird and all these completions into space. We got to find the answer. But right now, Chandler Whitmer is doing a great job of playing pitch and catch. We're keeping him clean for the most part. Demir Bradley having a strong first game of his collegiate career with 4 catches. Dialing up the zone read. Whitner isn't good at it, doesn't like running it, doesn't want to take those hits, but you got to run it enough to make the defense honor it. He gives, and he's going to go right to the ground. He is not about making people miss. He is about getting what he can get and getting either out of bounds or taking a slide. Dying up a little high-low concept here. Going to look post-stick. Bang that stick route. Demir Bradley again finding holes, showing nice savvy as a freshman. This is probably going to be a season where Whitmer is going to have to sling it around a lot. Lyle McComb's going to have to carry it a lot. And the receivers are going to have to make plays until we can get that dual threat QB that can allow us to run more of the spread option package. But until then, we got to work with what we have. And that's throwing, catching, and scoring. Jeremy Davis with touchdown reception number 3. And we go into the half up 24-14.
Well, we played a half of football. The Huskies with a 10-point lead. We played 30 minutes. Glad to have you with us on the EA Sports NCAA Football 14 halftime show presented by Nissan. Innovation that excites. David Pollack and I here in the studio to break down everything that just happened in your game. Maybe the most important statistic from the first half, no turnovers for either team. So far, a good job of ball security, but now you wonder if the quarterbacks can avoid putting the ball in jeopardy. They're going to want to make a big play, and that might sort of set off a feeding frenzy on the defensive side.
Yeah, and in defenses, that's the #1 priority. I mean, you can give up a lot of yards. They can chew up yards up and down the field, but if you can force turnovers, then you're keeping them off the scoreboard, and that's your #1 goal. So defenses, they have to be a little bit upset right now, and they got to try to find ways to hit harder. How about when you're tackling? Use the strip stick. You know, be able to strip the ball out, get the ball out, try to get some interceptions, try to make some user picks. You know, do whatever you can to try to get the football back from that offense and set your offense up in good field position.
Looking forward to seeing this second half. I think there's certainly a want for victory.
A want and a need for victory. Some teams need this victory, Reese Davis.
Want, need, got to go get it either way. Brad and Kirk are there to deliver.
Second half, defense has to answer the bell. Yawin Smallwood has to set the tone. That's a good start. Yawin Smallwood shows why he has the attention of so many NFL scouts and personnel people. But consistency is the key, and we get detonated on our left side and get gashed again. Someone needs to light a spark. Yawin Smallwood's trying to rally the troops and carry this defense on its back. Great play on the option keep. This is the tone you want your leader to set, but the other guys have got to follow. B.J. McBride still getting lost, but Smallwood bails him out. 3rd and long. David Stevenson blitzes from the slot and gets us off the field. That could be the Spartans defense needs as Stevenson, a redshirt sophomore, another one of these young players, comes through, comes in untouched, perfectly dialed up blitz. Now UConn is in great shape here. If we can get another TD on the board, they'll probably salt this sucker away. Lyle McCombs going back to work. Chandler Whitmer wants to get rid of that ball as quickly as possible. Demir Bradley showing that he has enough to get to the outside. Whitmer again shows some shake for a 4-yard gain. Back to McCombs. We got the machine churning a little bit. McCombs again. The UConn offensive line starting to wear down the UMass front 7. Max DiLorenzo going bulldozer. DiLorenzo again trucking away, pounding away. UConn exerting its physicality on this drive. And DiLorenzo, the battering ram, plows it in. Impressive physical drive of the UConn Huskies. North Carolina, unranked, puts up 40 on number 8 South Carolina. That's going to shake up the top 10 a little bit in this opening week.
Elsewhere, time to take a peek at what's going on in Fresno. We've been watching this thing all day long. The Bulldogs unleash their aerial assault and score a touchdown. Hartford's a wide receiver's coach's dream with those Velcro hands of his. He scored a touchdown. Fresno State leads it 13-7, middle of the second quarter.
It's going to have to start.
All right, has a defense righted the ship. Another stop, and we can pretty much salt this sucker away. Play action pass. Going deep down the middle, and Taylor Mack, the senior corner, our only senior in the secondary, steps in and makes a big play. And gets the first turnover of the game. That's what you're going to need out of your best cover man. He's got to step up when he's tested. So UConn looks like they've made the proper adjustments, and now they can breathe a little bit easier. It's getting nervous there for a while. Play action pass on first down, and we get rocked. Whitmer at least hangs on to the ball as they're looking for the kill shot off a turnover. Not very good blitz pickup at all. The only saving grace of that play was at least he hung on to the football.
Maybe use running backs and tight ends to help with double teams on the outside.
Got it to his man on the screen. Brought down at the 40. Nice run, and he's brought down.
That's cutting it really close. But they converted on that run by an eyelash.
We played 3, and this one's pretty much gone as expected. The Huskies lead it by 17.
Going to run some triple option. Pitchman covered. Excellent blocks on the perimeter, and Chandler Whitmer has enough to get to the end zone.
This quarterback can make good passes.
Defense is now in a position where they can just pin their ears back and go. Good pass breakup as the UConn Huskies are now starting to show a little bit of swag on the defensive side of the ball. You see the confidence starting to increase. And another INT, Jefferson Ashiru. As Mike Wesen has now started to collapse. Starting to feel some pressure. And Jefferson Ashiru has stepped up and made another INT. When you can rattle the QB's cage, make him uncertain, good things will happen. So it's all over but the crying. Just a matter of getting this clock down to 0-0. Just padding some stats. Lyle McCombs churning away, trying to just grind that clock out. We'll now start getting some backup players into the game as Redshirt freshman backup Scott McCummings coming into the game and gets greeted with a 4-yard loss.
He wasn't decisive at all.
He did not get much help at all from his blocking. Sabutis tack on another field goal and start to get the backup defense into the game as well. Don't want to get anybody hurt. Get some younger players some experience.
They'll bring him down to 30.
UMass is still firing away. They're not going to give up.
Fires out to his receiver.
Now the entire second team defense is in the game. Pressure. And backup linebacker Tim Willman gets the sack. Excellent job of coming off the bench and making your presence felt. Comes right through, does a nice spin move. And the QB runs right into him. Entire second team offense is in the game. Max DiLorenzo doing some rumbling. Good change of pace back. And Scott McCummings on the inverted veer. And you can see the dimension that he brings. He's got the speed, he's got the moves, he's got the size. Looks a little bit like Cam Newton body type wise. If he can turn into a homeless man version of Cam, the UConn faithful will be very, very happy. And that will end the game. So some nervous moments for the UConn defense. Offense looks pretty impressive. But the defense going into their next games has got to shore up. Maryland comes into town, and then Michigan, before we head to the road to Buffalo, and then the American Athletic Conference schedule begins. Good start. You always want to get a W your first game of the season. Chandler Whitmer, player of the game, played very strong. But the UConn Huskies definitely have some stuff to work on. Next up, the Maryland Terrapins.